Capital investment decisions play a big role in shaping the future of any given business. Most of these decisions are generally difficult and expensive to reverse, hence one must get them right the first time. In this lesson, we will cover what capital rationing is, the process involved in capital rationing, various types of capital rationing. First things first, make sure you get time to download a copy of notes that go with this video for your reference. Such can be found in our website, ZERITEVentures.com, or by clicking the link in the video description. So what is capital rationing? Well, a firm is said to be in a capital rationing situation when it has insufficient funds to accept all projects with positive net present value. Capital rationing is a technique for selecting the projects that maximize the firm's value when capital is restricted or when capital infusion is restricted. For such firms, a decision must be made as to which projects to choose. The technique used depends on 1. Whether capital rationing only exists for the current period or whether it will be limited for several periods. 2. Whether the projects being considered can be done in bits. Capital rationing can be classified into 2 broad categories. And the first one is soft capital rationing or hard capital rationing. The second, single or multi-period capital rationing. Soft capital rationing, which is also known as internal capital rationing, is the kind that occurs due to the internal policies of the company. The company may voluntarily have certain restrictions that limit the amount of funds available for investments in projects. Since these restrictions can be changed in the future, the term soft is used for it. Hard capital rationing, on the other hand, which is also referred to as external rationing, occurs when the company faces problems in raising funds in the external equity markets. This can lead to shortage of capital to finance the new projects of the company. So remember, soft rationing, internal reasons. Hard rationing, external reasons. There are many reasons contributing to this. They're listed in the PDF notes, which you can download from the given link in the video description. So let's look at the second one. Single period capital rationing. The easiest and the most straightforward form of rationing occurs when limitations are placed on finance availability for a given financial year. This kind of rationing will lead to 2 possibilities. The first one being projects are divided, hence being done in bits, and the second one not doing the projects at all. Here's a practical example to explain that. Assuming that ABC Limited is interested in 4 projects, that is W, X, Y, and Z. The relevant details are as follows. So we have the projects, that is W, X, Y, Z, the investment required, the present value cash inflows, the NPV, the profitability index, ranking as per NPV, and ranking as per the PI. Without capital rationing, all 4 projects would be viable investments. What if only $60,000 was available for capital investment? What do you think the company will do? Now, let's look at the resulting NPV if we select projects in order of ranking per NPV. So in that case, we'll take project Z, okay, since it has a higher NPV. So, having used 40,000, we are left with 20,000. But our next choice project requires a capital outlay of 30,000. So we invest in it by dividing the project Y. The NPV then becomes 1,487, which we arrive at by taking 20,000 over 30,000 and multiplying it by 2,230, which was the NPV for project Y, that is the 30,000. If we use PI, we can have 3 projects, W, Z, and Y, and the last one, that is Y, is going to be divided, which is shown in the illustration. Again, make sure you download the notes since we are summarizing here to save time. Now let's look at single period rationing with non-divisible projects. Supposing the projects are not divisible, then the method we've just talked about here is not going to result into an optimal solution. The best way to deal with this situation is to use trial and error and test the NPV available for the different combination of projects. This can be a laborious process if there are a number of large projects available. Look at this question. ABC company has capital of $95,000 available for investment in the forthcoming period. The directors decide to consider project P, Q, and R only. They wish to invest only in whole projects, but surplus can be invested. Which combination of projects will produce the highest NPV at cost of capital of 20%? So we'll reflect them as follows: projects, PQR, the investment required, and the PV inflows at 20%. So if you look at these, and if you try to combine the projects, if you combine P and Q, here are the results. If you combine P and R, here are the results. And if you combine Q and R, here are the results. The highest NPV will be achieved by undertaking project Q and R, as you can see, and investing the unused funds of $15,000 externally. In a case of a multi-period capital rationing, which is a situation where there is a shortage of funds in more than one period, we will have to use a different approach. This makes the analysis more complicated because we have multiple limitations and multiple outputs. In such a situation, we must employ a linear programming model to identify the profit maximizing mix of investments. So, in conclusion, capital rationing process can be summarized as follows. Number 1, evaluation of all the investment projects using capital budgeting techniques such as the net present value, internal rate of return, or profitability index. Number 2, ranking the projects based on results from the capital budgeting technique employed. 3, select the projects in descending order of their profitability. And last, compare the results of each technique with respect to the total NPV and select the best out of that. So, if you liked the lesson, make sure you subscribe to our channel and visit our website, ZERITEVentures.com, where you can get more free notes and videos and other related articles to help you with your academic endeavors.